Hi, good evening, everyone. Before we start, I would like to do a quick sound check. Can you all hear me? Okay. Hong Ju, thanks for acknowledging. I can see you knocking away, so that means all is good. Okay. All right. Small little request. Okay, before we start tonight, actually webinar. For those who are intending to collect e-certificate, okay, at the end of today's session, can I trouble you to please change your name, okay, to your given name, so that we could actually tally with our records and issue you with an e-certificate at no obligations. Okay, you can choose not to have the cert, but if you're going to stay with me for at least the next 1.5 hours or so, I would suggest that if you can change the name of your Zoom, okay, name, and then we will be able to start almost immediately. So while giving you some time to change, okay, I just want to do a quick check, okay, make sure that everyone is on the right page. Tonight's webinar is talking about executing innovative business models. Okay, hopefully nobody comes to the wrong session. Okay, and we are going to talk a bit more, okay, about what is business of innovation, how does it matter, and more importantly, what can you do with it? Okay, so there are a few objectives that I want to achieve today. So without further ado, because now it's already 7:35, I wouldn't like to drag anyone behind. Okay, let's start again by giving a very quick perspective of this topic. Okay, before we start, I would like to introduce you to myself. Okay, this is actually a quick overview about me, Stanley. Okay, my name is Stanley. I do a lot of teaching. Okay, and I specialize in Asian innovation as a research topic. I also actually take part in some conferences. Okay, editing of papers, journals. I'm a professional trainer. And something that most people do not know much about me, I'm an MBA valedictorian from American University. Okay, so remember tonight the presenter is me. Okay, but it's not about me. Rather, it's more about you. So I would like to set certain expectations. Okay, this is my basic expectation so that everybody is online. Okay, I will start at 7:30 as promised. We would like to see a bit of participation. I will also give you a lot of opportunities to participate, okay, in different parts of the webinar. And finally, I would like to equip you with a bit of walkaways, okay, about how business models are being innovated on a daily basis. So we're going to make use of some cases, some companies where they can allow you to make better sense, okay, of this emerging topic within business strategy. Okay, so first thing, what is innovation? Okay, when I first started teaching innovation, I get lots and lots, tons of questions being asked. Is innovation about creativity? Is innovation the same as invention? Is innovation just about talking things that's new to the world? Okay, so I think it's very important for us to seek alignment. And the best way to seek alignment is to first challenge this keyword, innovation. So when we talk about innovation, this is the best definition in my opinion. Okay, innovation is a creation of a viable new offering. So there are 4 keywords here: innovation, viability, new, and offering. Let's look at each one of these sub areas. So innovation, many a times people say that, you know, when I do certain things that's new, it must be like Einstein, you know, it must be like actually Newton. I discover something that mankind doesn't know. Okay, and that's innovation. No, it's not the same as invention. Invention, which is protected by patents, many a times they will fail because there's no commercial value out there. You can invent something new. The world has not seen this, but it is not innovation. So let's not be confused between innovation and invention. Okay, and then the second keyword here is viability. What do we mean by viability? It has to be value added. That means it must give you some value to the consumer. It must also be able to earn its keep. That means in the long run, it has to be sustainable financially. Okay, it must be able to earn profits. It must be able to justify why this new piece of innovation has to be around for the world, okay, or in the capital market. And of course, the keyword new. What do you mean by new? Does it mean that it must be new to the world, or must it be new to a country, or can it be new to just a market? Okay, here it does not really matter as much, because when we talk about new, okay, it can be new to a marketplace. For example, I am in Singapore right now, and for some of you who's probably in other parts of the world who are listening to this webinar, okay, I may not have seen your part of the world. Okay, I could borrow some ideas from your country, bring it back to Singapore. And if Singapore doesn't have this, to the Singapore market, this is a new innovation. Okay, so let's not actually get too excited. I must be an inventor. I must create something that the world has not seen. I must be able to act like Einstein. Okay, no, or Thomas Edison. No, you can actually copy ideas. Okay, across borders, across countries. Okay, and lastly, offering. When I talk about offering, many times people talk to me about iPhones. Many people talk to me about actually PlayStation 5, something that's very, very new to the world. But what you're thinking is just one aspect. There's a product. Innovation is more than just a product. So we have to think about innovation in many different contexts. It can be a business model, it can be a business process, it could be a system, it could be a service, it could even be a channel. Okay, and in my opinion, this is the most comprehensive definition, because it covers sufficient grounds, and yet it helps to demystify, okay, a lot of misperceptions about the keyword. Okay, so some of you may be asking, why do I need to care? I'm not going to be an Einstein. I'm not even a business leader. Okay, let's leave it to the business leaders to do whatever they need. Okay, and I just follow. Okay, I think that is actually the big challenge. A lot of my students in my undergrad class or my master classes, they always feel that, I'm not a leader. Let's leave to the leader, to the CEOs, to the directors, okay, or even to the inventors to do something. This is where I think there has to be a change in perspective. Okay, and why do we need to talk about a change in perspective? Because it affects every organization. Even if you're in a charity organization or you are actually working for the government, there are many, many grounds where you could change the rules, redefine the rules, okay, and make the market a bit more attractive, a lot more appealing. Okay, so here tonight we are going to make use of these three things. Business model. First, we have to understand what's a business model. Second, we have to understand how can a business model evolve. And finally, I'm going to use real examples, okay, to illustrate, okay, and to bring home the point. So here, when we talk about business model, we have actually a few key objectives. When we talk about business models, there's always only one out of four objectives. One, you could actually look at the market, what the market does not have. You will try to give them something that is missing. In the process of giving them a product or a value proposition, you will earn your keep. Okay, think of actually the light bulb. Okay, before the light bulb was invented, everybody needs actually fire, okay, to light up your surroundings. But with the light bulb, things have changed. So when actually the light bulb was invented, it was an innovation to the world. However, in today's context, it's no longer innovation. So innovation does aspire. Right? Second objective, you want to actually bring new products, okay, new services, new technologies to the market. Many a times, companies invest in R&D, research and development, because they are always trying to find out which is the big breakthrough, okay, the next breakthrough, or this actually very phenomenal product that promises the riches. So one of the key objectives of business model innovation is to look at the creation of new technologies, products, and services. Third objective, okay, I want to change the market rules. I want to change the way that people look at the particular market, or how things can be done in a better way. So in this process, you are trying to redefine, okay, the playing rules of a market, right? And usually you will try to actually do reverse engineering. You will also try to identify what are the gaps, okay, between the different market players. Okay, something that's not there, I want to create a new market. For example, before iPhone comes about, nobody really knows what's a smartphone until they had their first experience of the iPhone. So how does Steve Jobs even know what we want? Okay, and how does Steve Jobs actually convince us that Apple products are going to be better than any of those that's in the market? Okay, he actually created a market that is very design, okay, centric. And this is actually the fourth objective of BMI. So one of these four, okay, will form the reason, a very compelling rationale, why you need to look at business models. Okay, let me give you a bit of example from here. Objective one, okay, you think of it as Tata Nano, and this is actually the world's cheapest car. For people who have taken a ride in it, this is really scary. Okay, it has very, very minimum functionality. Okay, in many cases, it doesn't even have air condition, no power steering, and even actually sometimes its windows, right, will have to manually unwind. Okay, but having said that, why is it actually something that's so attractive to the Indian market? Because it's only retailing at $3,500 per vehicle. Compare that to your Toyotas, to your Nissans, to your Mercedes, you can probably get easily 20 of this, right? But to actually the Indian consumer, especially the very cost-conscious consumer, this is good enough. It's more than just a mode of transportation. Okay, when we want to bring new technologies, for example, the capsule coffee, Nespresso has done that very well. Okay, they wanted to bring capsule coffee to the world. You have Nintendo, okay, where you have the Wii. They wanted to disrupt the traditional gaming console market. Okay, and at that time, it was actually very saturated. It was always between Sony, okay, and other console markets. But Nintendo saw something that is different, and that's not being served. And of course, the social networks. Okay, before the invention of social networks, I think everybody was just relying on emails, phone calls, and traditionally maybe the slow mail. Okay, but with social media networks, now you have a whole generation of very tech-savvy individuals who would like to communicate on a daily basis with their close ones or friends. Okay, and to go into business model, I would like to recommend this book. Okay, it is a textbook that I've been adopting for quite a number of years now. It's a pretty old book, to be honest. It's first actually created in 2011, so it's about 10 years old, but it's extremely good book for anyone who are interested in business strategies, innovation. This is a must-have. Okay, and since I'm talking about this book, some of you may be wondering, it's an old book. I don't want to invest anything in it. No problem. Just let my colleagues have your mail or drop me a mail. Okay, I'll be happy to furnish you with a soft copy. Okay, it's actually a quite a good book, quite a good kit, to be honest. So tonight I'm going to make use of some of these concepts, okay, found in this book, so that everyone can be aligned. And if you would like to read a bit more, you can as well. So first thing, what's a business model? Earlier I talked about business model at large. I talked about what's innovation, but I cannot get away from telling you what's a business model about. Okay, so a business model, it actually describes the rationale of how any organization is going to create, deliver, and capture value. And value in this case is value from the perspective of the customer. It is not value from the perspective of management. It's not a perspective from stakeholders like government. It's usually perspective from a customer. Okay, and to look at this business model canvas, okay, I will have to first describe business model to you. Okay, this is actually a very simplified business model. And in this business model, you are going to see 9 boxes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you calculate, there's 9 of them in total. Okay, I would like to do a very quick analog. Annotate to let you know a bit further about how we can further break it down. Okay, so the red box that you see right now, these are what customers can feel. These are what customers can receive, okay, even though they are not found inside your organization. So that means, in other words, these 4 boxes are front customer facing. Okay, with the use of another color, okay, I will show you. This is what you are doing on a daily basis. That means, in other words, this is your business operations. Okay, and then finally, when we use another different color, this is your profitability. So if I were to dissect the whole 9 blocks, I can put it into 3 main categories. Those that customers can see and can feel. Okay, and then the second one will be those that you have to do on a daily basis, and these are your operational activities. And finally, the last category is your profitability. Okay, so if you look at all 9 boxes, it comes together very, very concise, very nicely packed. And I call them the 9 building blocks. It's just like Lego. We can always assemble this later on, okay, in your company's context or in your company's perspective. Okay, so let's actually deep dive into each one of them. Okay, value proposition, customer relationship, customer segments, and so on and so forth. Let's look at each one of them to give you a better perspective. Okay. 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 First, before we do that, I need to let you know, and in fact, I need to convince you why we need to use a business model canvas. First thing, many people use business models very loosely. The terminology they use it very loosely. But when you ask someone to draw a business model or to describe a business model, it can be a mouthful. It can be really complicated, and it can also be quite a challenge if someone is not very savvy in it. So these 9 building blocks, when they come together, it allows you to paint pictures of new companies, okay, or it allows you to paint a picture of a current organization. So if I borrow a picture from Coca-Cola, this is Coca-Cola's business model, okay, and it's usually very, very concise, very, very straight to the point. So anyone who's a stranger to Coca-Cola could be able, okay, to decipher this almost immediately. Okay, so let's look into the first block of the 9 blocks. Okay, first block, I've chosen it as customer segments because all businesses, they will go about making profits. They will love to make profits because if they don't make profit, they do not know who their customer is, then there's very little point why they would want to actually go into the market. Okay, in customer segment, we define who are the people that you want to serve and why you want to go about serving them. Okay, and we will also look at which segments, okay, which customer segment you want to focus on. No matter how huge your organization is, you will still have limited resources. And these limited resources will be better used when it's being used to serve intended targeted segment. So first question that we need to ask, okay, is which segments to serve? Which segments should we ignore? You can't serve everybody in the whole market. So even Apple will have to choose very carefully who are their intended customer segments. Okay, and to do so, you must design a business model by understanding your customers, by knowing what are their wants, what are their needs, what are their desires. Okay, every business would have to go about fulfilling one of these requirements. So it's either a need, it is a want, or it's a desire. Okay. Okay. Some examples of customer segments. You can go for the whole mass market. Okay, you can go for niche. You identify a small part within the market and say, okay, I'm going to understand them very well. I'm going to know exactly what they are up to or what is on their mind. So that's a niche market. Or you could go for a segmented market. That means you have actually a combination of mass market and niche market. Or you could serve 2 very different markets. Okay, market A, market B. You give them 2 different offerings. And then, of course, finally, multi-sided platform. Tonight, we are going to talk a bit more about multi-sided platform because I don't think anyone who's in this webinar does not know much about multi-sided platform. Bare minimum, you would have something that's a multi-sided platform in your smartphone. Okay, so we're going to look at actually multi-sided platform with greater details later on. Okay, so after you understand your customer segments, then the question is, how can I appeal to their needs, their wants, and their desires? That's why I go about designing a value proposition, giving them a reason why they must actually come to you, why they must choose your company, why they must patronize your company. Okay, it's actually to describe, okay, a bundle of goods and services, okay, that creates value. So earlier we mentioned value proposition itself would have to create value, but value in the eyes of the customers, not actually the management or other stakeholders. Okay? It has to create a new market, solve a problem, or fulfill a customer need. So it's either one of these three reasons. Okay, so here I'm going to give you 10 reasons. Okay, why customers usually choose one provider over the other. Okay, these are the 10 compelling reasons. Newness, performance, convenience, brand, cost reduction, price, customization, accessibility, so on and so forth. Okay, I have to send my apologies because usually in my class, I would deep dive into each one of them. Okay, but because I'm under a bit of time constraint, okay, I would go through this very quickly, okay, and give you a snapshot. Okay, these are the things that you can do to actually attract customers away from your competitors. Okay, second block. Okay, we've talked about second block. Now we're going to third block. So once you actually know your customer segments, you have a reason why they should come to you. Then you have to think about, how do I build a relationship? What a relationship do I want to maintain? Do I need to know them really, really well? Or can I just stay aloof and say, I assume, okay, that you are looking at this? So customer relationship is a third very important building blocks. Okay, and in this actually box, we are examining the different types of relationship. So there are normally three types. Okay, three ways they drive relationship. So either you go and acquire new customers. Okay, that means you spend a lot of marketing dollars, you spend a lot of your resources trying to build credibility. Okay, trying to build traction among new customers. Or you could actually, second method is you could look at your current customers and stop them from leaving. Okay, and to stop them from leaving, you will try to milk them. That means get them to buy more and more of your products without them leaving your company. Okay, the third aspect is to boost sales. How do we boost sales? We cross-sell, we upsell. Okay, if they're using product A, I could go to them and say, why don't you consider doing taking product B, vice versa. So it's actually the idea of selling them something, but offering them a lot more so that they can pay you, okay, across more areas, right? Okay, so typically when we look at that, we are very interested in the customer experience, also known as CX. Okay, CX today is a very, very big thing, especially in the marketing world. Okay, everybody is talking about, how can I make actually the consumer experience a bit better, a bit more attractive. So to the extent that even a new area called design thinking has come about. So in this session, unfortunately, I cannot talk too much about design thinking, but that is definitely part of the CX experience. Okay. All right, 5 categories, 5 types of relationship that you see out there in the market. First type, personal assistance. Second, self-service. All right. Third, automated. Okay. Fourth, co-creation. Fifth would be communities. Okay, let me give you an example of some that may not be so straightforward. For example, co-creation. Okay, how can I see co-creation? Think of your YouTubes. If you have been watching YouTubes, okay, yesterday, today, or maybe a week ago or a month ago, it doesn't matter. You are part of the co-creation. Especially if I'm going to upload a video into YouTube. YouTube doesn't charge you at all. But you have indirectly contributed to YouTube's relationship business because you gave them a product. Your video was a product. It came from you as a user. So another user is going to come to YouTube and look at your videos. That is a co-creation part. That means a user generating content for a company, okay, so that they could actually use that. Communities will be, for example, in the form of forums. Sometimes before you buy anything on the web, you want to get some feedback from people who have patronized this company. So communities are actually, the best example will be a forum. Okay, or it could be a testimonial. Okay, so the 4 box, we're talking about channels. Okay, so now you have identified a customer segment. You know what you want to offer this customer. You know what type of relationship, okay, you want to establish. Okay, or how much deeply the relationship must be. You have already identified. The 4th box is how to reach them. Okay, how to extend your marketing reach. How to make sure that they are aware of your business. How to make sure that they are able to patronize you and buy from you. So this is what the 4th box tries to talk about. We describe how a company communicates, okay, with its customer segment to make sure that its value proposition is successfully delivered, okay, and captured, right? So here, communication, distribution, sales channel are all part of the interface. And for people who are very, very savvy, this is also known as a customer touchpoint. Okay, this is when the customers first come into contact with the company. Okay, it can be even a website. So a lot of people say, you know, I have a website, so that means I'm into channel innovation. No. Which company does not have a website today? It's really hard to think of a company that does not have a website. Okay, but if you are going to do something to your website, for example, you're going to put in some customization where they address the customer by name. Okay, that is considered a form of channel innovation, right? Okay, and then you have to choose between these three possibilities. First, you do it on your own. That means you rely on your own channels. I could set up my own shop. I could have my own website. I could have my own distribution networks. Okay. Or second, I can go through a third party. Okay. Think of Grab. Okay. Grab is actually a third party, a partner channel for McDonald's and a lot of F&B outlets. Right. So all these actually partners itself are not part of the company, but they're more than happy to collaborate with you to increase your customer reach. Or you could go for something like an omni-channel, okay, which is very, very popular today, especially among retail. So any retailers today, it's really hard for them to say, you know, I can only sell through my physical shop. Let us not even think about our website. Okay, because of COVID, I think many of these traditional retail business, okay, have evolved. So now they are actually adopting both, okay, the omni-channels. That means having physical plus internet presence. Okay, but you have to choose either one of these three strategies to build your channel. Okay, let's go to the free box. Okay, so having said that, now we are going to go behind, okay, internally, go into the company or the organization and look at what are the things that we must have, okay, or what are the key resources that we should find. Okay, these are the assets that we need to make a business model work. For example, capital is one very important resource. Equipment is a very important resource. Some people say, you know, physical infrastructure, for example, buildings, right? Some say, you know, I must have a very robust patent network, okay, especially if you're into R&D. So here we are actually looking at how they can allow a company or enterprise to create a value proposition, reach a market and maintain relationship. So without key resources, no matter how beautiful your business model is, okay, things will not happen. So you definitely need these resources. So there are different types of resources here. Okay, there are four main categories. Okay, first, human capital. Second, money capital, financial resources. Third, intellectual, that is your know-how, your trade secrets, your patents. Okay, it could even be, for example, a secret formula, right? Especially if you're into the food business, you know, you could have a secret formula. Okay, and finally, of course, physical resources, like for example, equipment, vehicles, buildings. Okay, so you can't run away from these four types. And usually these four types, right, they must be available in an organization in varying combinations. Okay. Okay, sixth block. Okay, key activities. What are the daily things that you must do? Okay, in other words, this is what happens in any organization on a normal working day. Okay, what are the most important activities you need to do, okay, to make it work? So these are the most important actions. Okay, I summarize it into four. First, I go about creating, think about what to offer a market, what are the segments I want to serve, how can I appeal to them. So I design. So usually this is done by marketing, okay, or it could be done by senior management. Second is I think about how to reach a market. These are done by your supply chain individuals. So for example, your warehouse, your physical shops, okay, it could be even internet-based distribution networks. Okay. Third, this will be your customer service, okay, or your salespeople. They try to maintain customer relationship. Okay, and last and not least, earn revenue. Okay, and who earns the revenue? Usually the salespeople, and it has to be tracked by your finance. Okay. Okay, if I were to actually break even further, key activities, basically is three things. You're trying to produce something for a market, you're trying to solve a problem for a customer, or you're trying to become a middleman, what we call a platform. Okay, I think there's many different ways of looking at a platform or network. If I were to break it down in the simplest term, think of them as a modern middleman. Okay, they are the go in betweens between group A, group B, and these two groups are your customers. I'm just a middleman. I'm the one who connects those two parties together, and in the process, I earn money. Okay, so platform. I'm going to talk about this a lot more when we go into examples. Right? Okay, second block, key partners. Okay, who are the third parties? Okay, that you will have to work with. So it describes the networks of suppliers and partners. Okay, some people say, suppliers means, the person who actually creates or gives me the raw materials. May not be. Okay, supply can be more than that. For example, in the context of university, who are the suppliers? It could be actually even people like lecturers. Okay, they are the suppliers because they're the one who supply the content. Okay, it could be partners. For example, if you have to work with the government, okay, it may not be a business entity. It can be government. It can be an NGO. It could even be somewhere large. For example, the community, okay, the town they are in. So these are your partners. So companies create alliances for a few reasons. 3 main reasons: to optimize a business model, okay, to reduce risk, okay, and to acquire resources that's lacking. These are 3 reasons why you want to work with people. Okay, that's not found inside your organization. Okay, 4 types of partnership that's being used usually. 1, strategic alliances between non-competitors. Okay, all right. 2, cooperation. Okay, this is a very interesting area. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that later on. Okay, I'm going to talk about joint ventures as a third. Okay, as well as 4, buyer supplier. Okay, every time when I go through a physical class with my students, I get a question. Sir, I don't understand about 1, 3, and 4. But what's 2? Okay, what's competition? So what is competition all about? I mean, how can competitors work together? Aren't they supposed to be killing each other? That is where things have moved along. Okay, today you don't really just compete with your competitors. You can work with your competitors. Okay, for example, in Singapore, if you go to this place called Sim Lim Square, if some of you have ever had a chance to go to Sim Lim Square and buy a gadget, you walk into one shop. Okay, you realize that all other 10 shops on the same floor sells exactly the same thing. Okay, but you walk into this market shop and you request for a product, but this shop is running out, low on stock, or in fact they don't have stock of this product. What the salesperson will do is say, hold a minute, sir and ma'am, I'll be back in 5 minutes. And then you will observe this retail person going out, going to the next store, and then coming back with the item that you want. And then you'll be like, aren't they competitors? Okay, why are they able to go to the next shop and get something and give it to me and charge me for it? They are supposed to be killing each other for it. So in today's context, competition is very different. Most people will not be able to see with their naked eyes, but it's there. Think about your SMRT projects, okay? Because of the scale of these projects, normally 2 architectural firms will have to come together to tender for that project. So competition is actually a very interesting way of partnership today. And it is also something that captures a lot of value. Okay, so if you don't really like IT, you don't like SMRT, I will have to give you a very quick overview about an example that I use in my actually my class a lot of times. Okay, some of you love McDonald's, right? Fast food. Okay, and McDonald's is a fast food giant, number 1 fast food giant. Okay, quick food. Okay, but years ago, Burger King, which is number 2, okay, in the fast food chain competition, right? Number 2, decide to create something different. They said, I want to actually give back to society in a bigger way. I would like to ask McDonald's to partner with me, number 1, and number 2 coming together, cooperate together, and let's design a unique burger to serve the world. All the proceeds from this would go into the charitable causes. However, Burger King was rejected by McDonald's. Okay, I'm number 1. Why must I work with you, number 2? Okay, so McDonald's rejected Burger King flat. So Burger King still wanted this idea to happen. What they did in the United States, they went to approach another 13 burger joints, smaller burger joints, not as big as McDonald's for sure. And Burger King managed to convince them, okay, can you contribute 1 special ingredient that's found inside your burger? Okay, and let's call it a DIY burger, right? And with that, Burger King created something very unique. It has 13 ingredients, okay, from 13 different burger joints. And McDonald's is not involved in that. Okay, it was a very unique burger and it was only sold for a day. The proceeds from this sale, okay, shocked McDonald's. Okay, it overtook McDonald's actual burger sales for that particular day. Okay, and to give you a bit of an insight behind the scene, why did McDonald's reject? Because they were also designing something called a DIY burger. Years ago, I think you all had the opportunity to try a DIY burger. In fact, today it's still on the menu, at least in Singapore. You can design your own burger. You could put pineapples, with your tomatoes, with your beef patties, and then you call it your DIY burger. Honestly, this is something I can tell you. Please do not try to customize your burger too much. It is really weird. Okay, so sometimes it's better off stick to the traditional ones, but this is a result of competition. Okay, it can be where different competitors come about to work together for a common objective. Right? Okay, sixth block, we talk about revenue. Revenue very simple. We are talking about how you generate money, how do you collect cash. Okay, and each revenue stream may have different pricing mechanisms. Normally, two types of revenue streams. One is transactional. The other type is recurring. Okay, what's transactional revenue? I give you a product. You pass me the money. Okay, end of relationship. The customer walks away. Okay, the company walks away as well. So this is transactional based. Okay, so there's no follow-up. Second is recurring. Okay, recurring, that means every month, every fixed period, I agree to give you a sum of my money in exchange for a product. Okay, so between 1 and 2, you realize that a lot of companies are still stuck with 1. That means I sell you something, you give me the money, and off you go. That is very traditional perspective. Okay, a lot of companies today are trying to evolve into recurring. That means every month, without asking you, okay, or you have probably pre-agreed, I'm going to charge you a token, okay, a token sum, and I'm going to send my products to you until you tell me you no longer require it. So 2 is actually very, very popular today, especially when it's being used by platforms. Okay, so if I were to expand that revenue streams, 7 ways, okay, of generating streams, okay, revenue streams, collecting money, how to collect money, okay, and because of time constraint, I can't really focus on everything, okay, but here I'm giving you a quick snapshot. Okay, these are 7 ways I can collect money. Okay, some people say, oh, I must choose one of the 7 ways, right? No. Businesses today will not think about just choosing one of the 7 ways. Okay, if I can combine 3 ways of generating revenue streams, even better still. It makes it more complicated. Okay, that competitors cannot follow up. Okay, they cannot copy and imitate you. Okay, so don't be stuck with the traditional way of just thinking, if I'm going to earn money, it must be through only licensing or advertising. No, try to combine as many ways as possible. Okay, and we're going to talk about the last box, the 9th box. Okay, when you are actually into business, you definitely will incur costs, no matter how small the cost is, because to carry out your activities, you need to spend a certain part of your expenditure. To serve your customers, you must open up a shop, okay, or maybe you must have a very robust website. To work with actually third parties, sometimes you will have to pay them certain sum of money to secure a license, okay, or you will have to actually pay your employees. So cost structure is the last fulfilling box. It describes all the costs that's incurred by a company or an organization. However, some business models are more cost driven than others. Okay, and there are 2 broad categories of cost structure. 1, cost driven. Okay, in cost driven, I am only concerned about keeping my costs as low as possible. Think of the budget airlines. If I can keep the planes flying in the air as long as I can, my cost on the ground will be minimized. Okay, I don't want to go into actually very expensive cities, okay, or landing airports, like for example Changi. Okay, I may choose a secondary airport, okay, where I land, where they charge me lesser in terms of landing rights, so on and so forth. So in a budget airline, they are very, very, very cost conscious because they have to keep it as low as possible. Everything else is optional, and they're going to take away all the frills, okay, and focus on giving the basic product. Okay, on the other perspective, we have the value-driven cost structures where they think about helping you, okay, to give you the best value possible. So when they give you certain value beyond your expectation, you're more than willing to part with money, okay, your own money, more money than you're prepared to pay. So you have two very contrasting cost structures. If you go for cost-driven, there's no way you can give everything to your customers. Okay, you have to think about what to keep and what are the others to make it optional. If you're someone who really organization that believes a lot in value, customer experience becomes really important. Okay, and you'll go all the way out to make sure they're happy. Okay, and stick with you. All right. So when I integrate all 9 boxes together, sorry, it's a very quick overview. Okay, you could make use of this business model to describe your organization or a new enterprise that you're trying to create. Okay, you can show this even to the investors or to someone who doesn't even know what you're talking about. Okay, you can start as a business idea, but once you conceptualize these, you put your thoughts on paper, it becomes crystal clear. So clear that most of the time people cannot say that they do not really know what you're talking about. Okay, so it's very, very useful. And it's actually one of the very, very good tools that I do use in entrepreneurship and innovation classes, right? Okay, so for some people who are actually a bit conscious of time, because earlier I mentioned, okay, to my administrators, if I overrun a fair bit, you have to pardon me, I have a lot to share. So now we are doing a deep dive, okay, into examples, right? And I've prepared 5 different patterns, 5 different business models that's out there in the marketplace. The first business model is what we call unbundled business model. So what is unbundled business model? Fundamentally, 3 different types of businesses. You have customer relationship business, you have product innovation business, you have infrastructure businesses, all built in one same organization. And each of these business will have its own competitive actually dimension, its own cultural dimension, its own economic dimension. But you will find all 3 types in one single organization. Okay? And it's usually a very mammoth organization, right? But to understand what this organization is doing, okay, we will have to dissect and find out which are the 3 types and how they are serving the different customers. So later I'm going to give you an example, so it's easier for you to digest, okay, and also for you to digest as well. Okay, so if I look at actually unbundled business models, okay, making use of business model canvas, okay, this is business type 1, okay, which is relationship business. So business type 1, business type 2, okay, which focus on product innovation. So the first one is actually the relationship business. The one in brown is actually your product innovation business. And then the third will be your infrastructure business. Okay, so it's quite complicated. Okay, when I want to show you this, if I am not going to actually dissect into 3 parts for you, you find that, oh, it seems like they are in everything, they are doing everything possible. But the best way to understand unbundled business model is to just dissect that bit by bit. Okay, how common is this business model? Telecommunications. Okay, all mobile phone companies. Okay, telecommunication companies will use this. Singtel is the best example. Okay, for those who are with me in Singapore, you know, Singtel has all 3 businesses, and many times people only think of Singtel as just a telecom provider. Okay, where they sell you your iPhones, your Samsungs, and so forth. But what you didn't know is that they are also in the infrastructure business. They sell airtime, okay, to other smaller telcos who don't have the network, who don't have the infrastructures in place. Okay, so Singtel is a very, very big organization where they will have to work according to an unbundled business pattern. Okay, and let's look into banks. Okay, DBS don't just serve the consumers. They don't just serve businesses. Okay, they have a different relationship business. They also started their own training academy, okay, to treat other fellow bankers from UOB, from Citibank, so and so forth. So in that process, they are interested to go into unbundled business pattern. Okay, so you have 2 very, very localized examples to help you to understand a bit more. Okay, business pattern number 2, okay, is what I call the long tail. Okay, and for those people who are still wondering whether is this a mouse or whatsoever, this is a kangaroo. Okay, unfortunately the tail is a bit short, but I think that's a very, very good image in my opinion. Quite soft, and it also actually is able to capture the essence of what this business model is about. So why do we use actually the word long tail? The word long tail was created by Chris Anderson, okay, who's the author of this book called The Long Tail. Okay, in his book by Chris Anderson, he talks about this model where a small number of bestsellers contributes most of the revenue. Something like 90% of the revenue comes from a very narrow, okay, number of products. Okay, and this business model, it requires low inventory costs and a very, very strong platform to make sure that niche contents are really available to people who want to buy. So if I were to assemble this and show you in the graph, okay, those that in blue that you see here, these are your bestsellers, and there's only 4 bestsellers, okay, and they contribute quite a significant portion of your revenue. Those that's in orange, okay, the bar chart, those in orange, these are the lower selling products, okay. Together, when you combine all these orange together, yes, they also contribute a significant portion, but in a long tail business model, the company will focus on having a few bestsellers and a wide array of products to capture the market. So the focus is to give you as much offerings as possible. Hopefully you buy something from me. No matter how small the value is, at least you walk away with something. Okay, so that is actually the idea of long tail. Okay, and doesn't this look like this looks like a kangaroo here? Okay, to a certain extent. Okay, so first in the long tail, okay, we will have to focus on offers, right? So this is a value proposition, and then they will identify their clients very well. They must understand their clients really, really well. Most of the time they use the internet, okay, or a platform, for example, a place. They focus on key activities. They make sure that this platform is very robust, able to provide a wide array of services, okay, and they will look at niche content providers. Okay, and in their cost revenue segment, they will look at selling less of more. Okay, what do we mean by selling less of more? Okay, they will rather sell you less items, okay, but you buy more of the actually the best sellers. Okay, so and that is actually what we mean by selling less of more. Okay, and in this business model, Netflix, best example. Okay, and of course some of you may be following up with Squid Game, okay, after my webinar. Okay, this Netflix, okay, is adopting the long tail. They give you thousands and thousands of movies at your disposal just through online streaming. They will not be able to know exactly what you're looking at the initial beginning, but with algorithms, okay, and of course you telling them whether you like the show or not. When you read these shows, the algorithms goes about refining, okay, the items that you're looking for or you're most interested in. So Netflix is not alone in this. You have Amazon, okay, who's able to give you recommendations. You have Grab, okay, or even actually in certain cases Alibaba, where they give you suggestions, product suggestions. If you buy product A, maybe you will be interested in product B. So they're all using the long tail to a certain extent. Okay, and if some of you don't really watch a lot of streaming, okay, a lot of stream movies, that's fine. Let me give you another example. Supermarket. Okay, if you're a family man like me, you know, or if you're a young couple, I'm sure you have been to a supermarket. Okay, the supermarket is a platform and it uses the long tail to maximum effectiveness. It will house thousands and thousands of products, different brands, different prices. Okay, and how do we actually really make sure that you fall trapped into long tail? Okay, I digress a bit. Okay, I'll give you a bit more of their strategy behind the supermarket. Okay, for people who are with me in Singapore, every Thursday when you flip Straits Times, okay, the physical paper, not the digital paper, the physical paper, when you flip, you realize that there's a lot of supermarket advertisements where they tell you, oh, you know, today there's a daily bargain, you can get this fish at $1.99, usual price is $6, or you can get this product at $2.50, usual price is actually $3.50, so on and so forth. So you realize that they actually spend a lot of money, okay, advertising the dailies, just to capture the attention of the supermarket shopper. Okay, why would they spend thousands of dollars just to capture you? who's only prepared to buy one fish or maybe one canned food, one tin of canned food. Why? Because it's a trap. It's a booby trap. It's a long tail. It's a gimmick that they're going to use to entice you. So if let's say you're one of those, you say, yeah, that's a bargain. I'm going to go to the supermarket, buy that fish for $1.99. You walk into the supermarket and then you say, okay, I'm going to the fish section, pick up my fish. How many of you will walk out from the supermarket buying just only that fish? It's really rare. Sometimes you walk along the aisles, you end up picking up fresh milk, you end up picking up groceries, other groceries. You also pick up actually like things like, for example, snacks, soft drinks, so on and so forth. And then you realize, hey, I'm here to buy the fish at $1.99. How come I end up buying actually one whole basket full of items? That is when you fall victim to long tail. Okay, and this long tail is when what I mentioned earlier, best seller, it could be the fish, right? But they are not happy to just sell you their fish. They want to sell you more than what you are going to settle for a fish. Okay, they're going to get you to come here to my platform, take a look, and by the way, since you're here, why don't you pick up something else? So this is actually long tail being applied to everybody's life. Okay, in very, very little ways, but very, very meaningful. Okay, the third one, okay, the third business model, multi-seller platform. Every time when I talk about business, especially multi-seller platform, a lot of my students get excited. Okay, they say, you know, Sen, I'm prepared to create the next app after I attend your class. Hold on a minute. Okay, multi-seller platform are not as simple as you think it is. Later, I'm going to run through with you a bit more how the mechanism works. In multi-seller platform, I would usually like to use a simpler terminology. I call them the modern middlemen. Modern in the sense they are not going to be those that you're going to turn to by giving them a call, or you're going to drop them an order or telling them what you want. No, they are always there when you're ready, okay, to look for something. So whether are you a customer or are you a buyer, that is what I'm going to demystify very quickly. So multi-seller platform is a third business model pattern. So in this business model pattern, you need at least two different groups of customers. Customer A, customer B. Okay, and customer A and customer B must be separate, interdependent. They cannot be dependent on each other. Okay, and ideally, customer A, customer B doesn't know each other. They have no way to connect with each other. Okay, and that's when you come in as a middleman. Okay, so to customer A, this customer A is of value to customer B. Okay, and customer B is of value to customer A. And it's like a balancing beam. It's like a seesaw, you know. Okay, you need to have both set of customers ready and in equal numbers, right? So for a start, when multi-seller platforms get actually off the ground, many a times they'll focus on one group first. Okay, and over time they build up the second group. Okay, let me illustrate a bit more through the business model. Okay, that you're going to see later on in a short time. Okay, how does this actually multi-seller platform captures value and creates value? They are the facilitator. Okay, they help you, customer A, customer B, to be connected, to carry out interactions or business transactions. In the middle, they will collect commission. Okay, and I'm going to also introduce you to this thing called a network effect. Okay, for example, today, assuming I'm actually a platform, okay, so I have 31 of you inside this, right? So you are all defined as customer A. Okay, so how do I find customer B? Okay, who is customer B? So all of you are actually interested in learning more about business model, right? Okay, I am the platform. I am going to customer B, and customer B could be a training company. It could be actually someone who sees value in you. For example, they may want to sell you books. For example, earlier I mentioned about business model generation as a book, correct? A publisher. A publisher may be interested in 31 of you. So what I will do is, if I'm a platform, I have you as customer A. Tomorrow I'm going to call customer B, and in this case a publisher, and tell them, guess what? I have 31 people who are interested in maybe buying your book. Okay, and to know them, sure, you can go through me. Okay, I'm going to earn commission from this process. Okay, from a publisher. Then we ask, wait a minute, I'm customer A. Okay, so do you stand to benefit? Sometimes I do. For example, if I charge you a recommendation fee, okay, you want me to recommend you a book, right? Sure, I'll charge you 20 cents. Okay, for every 20 cents I collect from each one of you, that's revenue, no matter how small. So I am the connecting tools in between two groups of customers. And just imagine, if I don't have you as customer A, will customer B be interested? They won't. Similarly, to you, as customer A, if I don't have customer B, that means a book publisher, you may not be interested too. So in a platform, it gets very complicated because the more people I know, the stronger the network effect is. Okay, and I mean, I have another separate webinar talks about network effect, but today I just want to give you a quick overview. Okay, in a multi-seller platform, the bigger the network effect, the more lucrative this will be. Okay, so it's not unique to Grab. It's not unique to Uber. A lot of modern businesses today are all multi-seller platform. Okay, and think of your Microsoft. Okay, think of your Facebook. Think of your LinkedIn. Think of your Zoom. Okay, think of your PayPal. Think of your Google. These are all multi-seller platforms. Basically, in a nutshell, if you're a modern user, okay, modern consumer, you are bombarded by multi-seller platforms, which is why multi-seller platforms many times they become unicorns. Okay, so unicorns are businesses with more than $1 billion in valuation. So that's actually another webinar I have. So for people who wants to know a bit more, subsequently, if let's say there's an opportunity, I will share with you a lot more about that. All right. Okay, so in multi-seller platform, they will focus on these three things first: key activities. They need a platform, they need a service, they need to actually provide and promote this platform. So their key resources is just a platform. Okay, so they'll spend a lot of money to make the platform very, very robust. After they're done with that, they will look at customer A. Okay, in this case, using the example I gave you, assuming all of you are customer A, okay, all of you are eager learners, right? So that's customer segment 1. Okay, and I must use this platform to give you something. Like, for example, can I sell you a book? Okay, on business model. Can I actually sell you a training seminar or a certificate? Okay, or a program about value propositions? Okay, so that's value proposition 1. And in process, you decide to buy value proposition 1 from me, I'll get my revenue flow, first flow of money. Okay, and then I have turn to segment 2. So who's a segment 2? In this case, it could be the publisher, the book publisher. Okay, how do I go about enticing the book publisher? Okay, guess what? You know, just last night I had a very interesting webinar. So many people were asking me for your book. You know, would you like to reach out to more customers? Okay, so to customer B, in this case a publisher, I will sell them the context, the information, okay, of who these people are, and in return, you'll pay me commission, okay, for every book that I sell. And when they pay me for that, I get my revenue flow too. Okay, so here we have 2 customer segments, 2 revenue flows using the same platform. And how about customer segment 3? So it can be multiple segments. All right. So later when we go through some of these examples, you're going to see, okay, that a multi-seller platform can really deal with a lot of different customer groups at the same time, just using one simple tool. Okay. Okay. And earlier I mentioned, to get customers, two groups of customers or more together, I will have to start many a times. Okay, a startup company will have to subsidize or sponsor part of the value proposition. Okay, so give you an example. When Grab and Uber first comes about, who do you think they're more interested in? Are they interested in the drivers or are they interested in the passengers? So this is a question that Uber, Grab, and all multi-seller platforms, okay, in transportation are looking at. Should I focus on the drivers or should I focus on the passengers? Okay, they many times decide to choose on the passengers. Okay, that means they are going to earn some actually from the passengers indirectly. But they realize like, okay, yes, if I focus on the passengers, what if I don't have drivers? Okay, the business model will not work. And this without the drivers, right? Basically the whole business model falls, okay, through the fact. So what Uber Grab did, okay, they will not charge the passenger, at least in the initial beginning. Okay, they will use a lot of their funds raised through capitalism to go and subsidize all these drivers. That is also a reason where in the initial founding years, when you hop into an Uber or a Grab car, the driver will tell you, well, you know, I have done so many trips, you know, this week, and I'm entitled to so much incentive. That was a subsidy. Okay, this subsidy was to entice the drivers to be in abundance, so that they can connect the drivers with the passengers. Okay, and how much does Uber earn in the process? Anyone knows in this room? If you know, it'll be great if you could actually put that in the chat session, so that everybody can actually have an idea. Okay, for those who are not sure, it's fine. Okay, all these multi-cellular platforms in transportation, they charge 20%. Okay, of the fare as commission. Okay, and they charge the driver 20%. So earlier I said, now I have the drivers. Okay, it's time for me to turn to the customers. In this case, or passengers. Customer A. So what is Grab doing right now? Anyone? They're charging you a very small booking fee, right? Correct? Anyone who's booking through Grab will people tell you, oh, you know, there's a small little booking fee. Aha, that is revenue flow 1. Okay? Revenue flow 2 is a commission that's paid by the drivers. Then some of you will be asking, hey, then where's revenue 3? Revenue flow 3. How about the Grab food? How about all the other things that you're going through Grab for? Okay? So let's examine. Talking about Grab, you guys said they are no longer just into food, they're no longer just into transportation, they're into parcel delivery, they're into hotel bookings, they're into tickets, okay, they're into subscription. Okay, so this is what you really see when you're in Singapore. Okay, but do you think Grab is just satisfied with this? No. In Thailand, Grab has a Grab input. Okay, in India, okay, you can use Grab Chopper. What's Grab Chopper? You can book a helicopter, okay, using Grab. Okay, in Manila, okay, you could actually use Grab, okay, for parcel delivery, which comes about nowadays in Singapore. Okay, but initially this parcel delivery, okay, started from another Southeast Asian country, right? So Grab is actually a very, very, very robust, very, very successful multi-sided platform. Okay, so what is the connecting point between all these customers? The app. Nothing else. It's just an app. So the app is a platform. Okay, the algorithm is the tool, how they go and facilitate the interactions. LinkedIn. Some of you who are professionally connected to one another, LinkedIn provides free service. Okay? Anyone of you who pays for LinkedIn, okay, to get connected into LinkedIn, you're probably the only one who pays for LinkedIn, unless you upgrade to premium. Otherwise, LinkedIn will never charge you if you start a basic account where you put your profiles, you know, you put your credentials inside. LinkedIn will never charge you. But does it mean that LinkedIn is not multi-sided? They are a multi-sided platform. So you are the user. Okay, you are subscribing to LinkedIn as a social media. Your customer A. So who's customer B? Customer B will be the advertisers, people who are interested to reach out to you as potential buyers. Okay, and LinkedIn in between charges. Okay, so in this case, they subsidize you as a normal user of LinkedIn, but they'll charge an arm and a leg for the advertisers who's willing to pay in order to reach out to you. Okay, so this is what we mean. I use customer A, I give you some subsidies, okay, but I will charge a lot more for customer B. Okay, so LinkedIn is one example. There is a lot of examples for multi-sided platform. Okay, okay, let's talk about one which is a bit different. Okay, this is actually the 4th pattern. Okay, however, sorry, apologies for that. I don't have a standalone slide to tell you this is about freemium. Freemium, okay, the word is a combination of free and premium. Okay, so when I actually take away the word P-R-E from word premium, combined with the word free, I get freemium. Okay, freemium is a 4th business model, which is very common today. In this business model, at least one customer segment must be able to benefit from a FOC offer. That means they don't pay anything. Okay, you are not going to charge them anything unless they choose to upgrade. So in this model, there will always people who say, you know, I'm okay with basic functionality. I'm not going to pay more. The basic service, the basic product is good for me. Okay, I don't want any more. But there are some of you who find that guess what? The basic service, the basic value proposition is not good enough. I want more. I want to have more features. I want to have more capabilities built into that same service or offering. So non-paying customers, people who are not willing to pay, they are always subsidized by another paying segment or by another part of the business model. Okay, so in freemium model, they will always start by giving you something free. Okay, think of your Hotmails, think of your Gmails. Okay, nobody pays, right, to start any Gmail account? No, unless you upgrade. So you can have millions of customers, okay, and none of you pay you any single cent. It's fine. That is the purpose of freemium. Freemium wants to have a large base of free users. And over time, people who get very frustrated or people who want to have a lot more functionality will be willing to pay with a small sum of money to enjoy a better service. And these are the premium users. So in a premium user, okay, it must come from this free base first. Okay, and then they are willing to pay a small little token to enjoy a better cost. So in a freemium model, they are going to focus on just 4 boxes. Okay, so there's a cost of giving something free, there's a cost of attracting premium users. Yeah. Okay, and from the business model angle, platform infrastructure development, fixed cost is very important. Because this fixed cost is sunk cost anyway. The bigger the subscription base, the better it is for them. Okay, on a nominal basis, per user basis. So in a freemium model, they would go about trying to capture as much subscribers as possible. Okay, so that they can bring the cost per customer very, very low. Okay, so think of Zoom. Today I'm using Zoom. Okay, for some of you, you are probably using the free account. Okay, to follow up with me. Some of you are not paying Zoom. Okay, but here we are. As an institution, as a school, we will have to upgrade. Because if we don't upgrade to a premium, we can't host as many of you. Okay, there's limitations. So if you're a single user, it's fine. Zoom will not charge you for it. Okay, but Zoom is not going to give you unlimited service. They're going to give you certain restrictions. For example, you cannot have anything beyond a certain time limit. You cannot host too many people. Okay, but as a school, we can't go for freemium. We have to go for premium. Okay, that's why we can host so many of you in today's session. So Zoom is one of the best examples of freemium. You can use a basic account for free, no problem. But if you want to have more, you pay me more, okay, on a monthly basis, right? So Zoom is a very, very, very relevant, okay, example. Spotify. For many of you who are music lovers, okay, gone are the days when you download your MP3s, right? Okay, if you don't even know what's an MP3. So I think for the younger folks, you may not know what's an MP3. You could hear about MP4. Even for the older folks who's around my generation, you may have heard of CDs, MDs, okay, or even cassette tapes. Okay, Spotify transforms and disrupts everyone. Okay, so what is Spotify all about? I'm going to deep dive a bit more into the case study. Okay, and this is different from what I showed earlier. I'm going to do a full illustration of LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn launched in 2006 as a free online music streaming service. Okay, its idea was to compete against pirated contents. Okay, especially music, right? So it was a platform with this objective in mind. It gives you access to a large catalog of music. Okay, it uses a freemium revenue model. Okay, we realize a lot of the music algorithms is community of users and artists. Okay, it saw itself as a legal alternative to pirated music and iTunes. Okay, and its premium, okay, customer base grew phenomenally, okay, to 46%, okay, versus 2011. Okay, it pays a lot of its royalties to music labels. In fact, if you focus on LinkedIn on its own, not LinkedIn but Spotify music, okay, all those stream music contents that you're consuming now, it basically comes from 4 music labels. Okay, Universal. Okay, you have actually of course, your Warner Music. Okay, these are the more common ones, and then you have also Grammy. Okay, so Spotify actually, although you're using Spotify for free, okay, you're not paying a single cent, but Spotify will have to pay royalties to all these music labels just to keep you as a free user. So it has paid something like 10 billion, okay, in royalties since 2006, right? So this 10 billion, who finances this? Okay, I'm going to talk about that a bit later on when we go to the business model. In the process of Spotify emerging from the market, it disrupted iTunes. Today, if you tell someone, okay, why don't you go to iTunes, pay $199 or $0.99 to download a single music, okay, piece, people will tell you, you must be crazy. I'd rather pay Spotify, okay, $7.99 or $9.99. Okay, I get unlimited music, okay, in my app. So you realize that actually a very, very emerging actually freemium provider has disrupted Apple iTunes, who's a disruptor. So this process will continue. You will get a lot of freemium providers coming in to challenge the incumbents. Okay, and if we look at the business model, this is the basic users. Okay, people who are not willing to pay. Let's go box by box. Okay, music lovers at large. Okay, they give you free music streaming, no problem. Right, I'm not going to charge you. So there are free service, and because there's free service, there's no money to be earned. Okay, and they have to look at conversion and churn rate. You have to manage you, keep you from leaving Spotify. Okay, and to do so, they must give it to you free. Every month they will encourage you, use me. You get actually access to some good contents. Okay, and using the platform, okay, they will still have to pay royalties to who? To the music labels. You're using it free, but music labels will still charge Spotify. Let's go a bit deeper into the second segment. These are people who are coming from the free music streamers, and they say that I don't mind to pay $9.99 a month, okay, so that I can get rid of the irritating advertisements. I can choose to actually skip tracks as much as I want. So in that, people who decide to come from music lovers, they may become premium users. And to capture the premium users, they must use premium music streaming. No advertisements, skipping of soundtracks, unlimited access, high quality music. Okay, these are all the value propositions that's created by Spotify. So in the process, they will earn their keep through the premium subscription, $9.99 per month. And Spotify will still have to use this platform and pay royalties, okay, to the music labels. So if I look at Spotify, it's no rocket science. Okay, I can decipher and break it down for you and allow you to understand it a lot more. So along the way, you also realize that some advertisers are interested, okay, and they are not going to just charge premium users. Although 90% of their revenue comes from premium users, 10% of their revenue comes from advertisers, okay, people who has a marketing message, okay, and they will force the basic users to listen to the marketing messages from all these advertisers, so that in a way, the revenue collected from advertisements, right, can subsidize the cost of keeping you as a free user. Okay, so this is a whole business model of Spotify, okay, dissected. Okay, so why are they successful? They manage to attract a large base, okay, using a free service. They are able to convert free users, okay, into a premium, okay, into a premium user, right, using very minimum high quality service. They will also manage their churn rate and retention rate. They want to stop you from leaving, okay, and to stop you from leaving, they will have analyzed how much is your LTV. Okay, what's the LTV? It's what we call lifetime value. Okay, so what's lifetime value? It's the amount of money I could squeeze out from my customer over the time that you're patronizing me. So that means, in other words, how much money I can get from you as a user, okay, assuming that you're going to stay out with me through the period that you want, okay. So they look at that and they will try to increase this lifetime user, okay, value, all right, and then they also try to balance the cost. Earlier I said there's royalties to be paid, right? Okay, and these royalties are not little. We are talking about billions of dollars, okay, and these are in pounds, and this is 74% of the overall cost for Spotify, okay. And for a good period of Spotify's existence, okay, they started in 2006. When did they become profitable? Are they profitable? Some people do ask. they give me free service, but doesn't mean they are profitable. They were not profitable. For how long? They were not profitable for 13 years. The first time that they managed to turn a profit was in 2019. That means 2 years ago. Finally, they got out of the red. They got into the black. But they were losing money for 13 solid years. And then you'll be like, hold a minute. How can a company who's so big, okay, keep losing money for 13 years and yet they have not collapsed? That is innovation financing at work. Okay, they take money from the investors. They take money from the venture capitalists. Okay, to subsidize you all, right? And then along the way, they will try to learn how to monetize your that platform. So today, a lot of multi-seller platforms are still not profitable, by the way. Okay, they have not even figured out how to monetize. So there is a long traction, okay, what we call a gestation period. Before they actually earn their first profit, they must be able to withstand years of losing revenue. Okay, Airbnb is no different. Okay, and if you talk about others, like for example, Grab, yeah, they were not profitable for a long time as well. Uber, they were burning money, okay, as if money doesn't even exist in the first place. So these are all the downsides of freemium. Okay, I must keep losing money first, and then before I try to earn it back somehow. So finally, they finance it with their premium revenue model. Okay, 54% of you out there, okay, the general public, still doesn't pay for Spotify, and Spotify is fine with that. Okay, all right. So finally, we are coming to the fifth business model. And this is the final part. Okay, I know I'm overrunning. So for people who need to leave, sure, you can go ahead. Okay. But for people who can really stay with me, I really appreciate you can spend the next 5 to 10 minutes, okay, with me. So this is a fifth business model, what we call the open business model. In the open business model, we use companies will use this model to create and capture value by collaborating with third parties, people who are outside of the organization. Okay, two ways, okay, two sub-ways of constructing an open business model. What I call outside in and inside out. Okay, I'm going to explain to you what's outside in. Outside in means I get ideas, okay, I get innovation from outside the organization. I try to bring it into the organization, okay, and try to conceptualize something. Inside out means I actually look at something from my labs, from my R&D efforts. I think it's good enough, you know, this very proposition is robust enough. I push it out to the market. Okay, so hopefully someone out in the market, okay, is able to realize the value and is willing to pay me for it. So these two business models are very, very different. Okay, but they are all captured as open business models. Okay, so you'll be asking between A and B, which one is better financially? Okay, B is what a lot of companies are using now. So if you're talking about actually pharmaceutical companies, if you're talking about manufacturers, if you are talking about telcos, okay, they are all using B. Okay, hopefully one engineer, hopefully one scientist, hopefully one researcher managed to stumble on something, create something phenomenal, you know, when I push out the market is willing to accept. So B is very, very common. Okay, very traditional. A is not so traditional. A, in fact, is very groundbreaking. It's what we call crowdsourcing. Okay, so crowdsourcing means I borrow ideas from the public. Okay, I do not know you, but you're more than welcome to give me ideas about what are the value or services that you need, and then I'll create something from that. So I'll focus a lot more about outside in, okay, rather than inside out. So if I look at business model A, okay, this is what business models do for A. Okay, they'll focus on key partners. They'll try to look for innovation partners. They'll look at research communities for ideas. They will try to actually explore secondary markets, build their networks, do some screening of ideas. Okay, and finally they look at resources, capabilities, and how they can derive a lot more sense to a wider pool of people. And they will externalize development costs. What do you mean by externalize development costs? They are not going to pay you a single cent for your idea, but you're more than welcome to tell me your ideas. Okay, for example, if you are a user, okay, you may have some frustration, you know, why is this product or this service not up to my expectation, and then you go very, very frustrated, very angry, and then you decide to shoot the complaint right away, and then you say, okay, I'm going to launch a complaint. I think there's a better way of doing this. The business would say, sure. Okay, if a business adopts outside innovation, you say, sure, tell me more. Tell me what would you like to see. Tell me how will you solve this problem. And then go and take your feedback, go back to the drawing board and try to refine this product. Have they paid you for it? No. It came from a complaint. It came from a feedback. It came from some actually creativity of yours. And they are not paying you a single cent for it. But they have to pay you for it because they're going to borrow your ideas, go back to the drawing board, come up something, okay, and they're going to push up the market. Okay, with very minimum R&D costs. Okay, and this is the reason why crowdsourcing, crowdfunding has become extremely popular because it's virtually at no cost to an organization. Okay, here I am giving you an example. Okay, this is Kickstarter. Kickstarter is a platform for aspiring entrepreneurs, for people who want to start their business but have no capital, that means no money, okay, no resources to start their organization. So what they do is that if I'm an aspiring entrepreneur, I go to Kickstarter, I put my ideas there, I tell them this is my business plan, this is a market segment I want to do, and this is how much money I need. So they're selling you their ideas, okay? And people can just put their ideas on this platform and share with the investing community at large. Okay, and if this idea is captive enough, people say, okay, guess what? You need 1 million, right? I don't have 1 million. Let me donate $2. Okay, per person. So assuming everybody donates $2, okay, once it hits 10 million, which is the minimum threshold within the period, the project is live. You have just kickstart your business, not using a single cent of your money. Okay, so it is possible today for a business person or for an aspiring entrepreneur not to use a single cent of your money or your hard-earned savings. You can use other people's money. But what's the catch here? For anyone who's willing to part with their own money, right, to see your project to success, you must usually throw something in return. So for example, if I'm going to put $200 with you with this project and it goes live, you must give me a taste of that product or a taste of that service. Okay, so this is actually like a barter trade. Give me your money. Once I have enough money, I start the company. I'm going to give you some of my products or some of my services. So it's a very, very phenomenal actually platform. However, Kickstarter is only very, very active in North America and certain parts of Europe. In Asia, it's not very, very, very common. Okay, but Asia has its equivalent. If you're looking at some of these similar communities like Kickstarter, okay, you have 501 startups, okay, which is more Asian centric, but using the same platform, the same ideas as well. Okay, you have a very interesting idea, go to them, they will be able to jumpstart. Okay, once you need sufficient donations. Okay, so this is what we call crowdfunding, right? Okay, this is giving.sg. Okay, giving.sg is another web platform. So who conceptualized this giving.sg? These are your NGOs. These are all your charitable organizations. For example, you think of say Singapore Kidney Foundation, you think of people like 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲𝗲, you think of people like actually 𝗦𝘂𝗯𝗀𝗲, SINDA, so on and so forth. Okay, so it's a common platform where all these NGOs, all these non-charitable organizations, or maybe all these special cause organizations can come to this platform, share with you a objective, normally a problem in society, and how much money that you can donate, okay, or canvas for donation. So today, if you say that, okay, I have a bit more of spec change to part with, I can go to giving.sg and say, okay, I'm going to pledge $5 to NKF. I'm going to pledge $5 to Singapore Heart Foundation. Okay, and did these VWOs do anything? No, they went to a platform, they just tell you, okay, I need so much money for this common reason, and it attracts people who has a kind heart or who has a sense for giving back to society. So it's a very, very interesting way where VWOs, NGOs are going to get a bigger revenue source. Okay, and sometimes you do see sad stories being published. but that's to cut at your heartstrings. But the basic concept is the same. Use a platform, donate every single cent that you can part with, if possible. Okay, so this is actually crowdsourcing. I go to the crowd, the committee at large, I don't know them, but I try to canvas for funds using a platform. Okay, so open business innovation. Okay, now we're going to focus on something that's not so, it's very common, so I'm not going to spend too much time. This is what we call inside out, something that's conceptualized in the lab, something that's conceptualized on the drawing board. I push it out to the market, and in the market itself, they will give me secondary markets, they will license, they will go into innovative customers, and along the way, I will create spin-offs. Okay, I will charge license fees. I will actually look at different ways of building my sales revenue. Okay, so inside out is very common. So I'm not going to spend too much time on the business model here. Okay, example, Dyson. Dyson is a company that uses inside out. Okay, they will come up with very innovative, groundbreaking vacuum products, so and so forth. They are not sure whether you guys will buy it, but they are quite convinced there's a market for it. So they'll push out their backless vacuum cleaners. Okay, and then eventually when you buy it, you pick it up. That is an example of inside out. Okay, others. Okay, this is actually a autonomous bus. Okay, developed by NTU, LTA, and Volvo. It's driverless. Okay, you can see on NTU's campus, right? And we hook into it because there's no driver. It relies a lot on sensors. And once again, it came out from NTU's actually engineering lab. Okay, so another very good example of commercialization. All right, so here we are. Tonight, I think rather than keeping everyone here, okay, I've gone through quite a fair bit. Okay, so we're going to do a very quick overview exercise. Okay, here, I would like you all to participate if possible. Okay, tell me a bit more how many business models there are in these companies. Okay, if you can, if you are very savvy and notate, right? Maybe some of you can take different boxes, fill this up, and let me know. Now it's also a good time for you to switch on your mind and probably contribute by speaking rather than drawing. So do I have my first contribution for the night? Anyone? Right? Anyone who wants to go for a start? Okay. So tonight I'm a bit concerned because normally my students are not that quiet. They are quite actually participative in nature. Okay. So if you look at actually all the different business models, okay, I see Ivan, I see Fanny, Benny, yes. Great, thanks a lot for contributing. Okay, so while you're filling up the first box, let's see. Okay, Zoom. So you think there's 4 business models. So what are they besides Freeman? So Ivan, if you could, can I trouble you to switch on your mind? Can we just do a quick walkthrough? What are the 4 business models you think that's present? If it's not possible for you to speak, you can also type in the chat. Okay, either way is fine. Okay, do I have any takers for Netflix? Okay, in the interest of time, because I'm overrunning a fair bit, okay, let me help you a bit more. Netflix, okay, in fact, across the board, okay, all of these companies don't use just one business model. If you can use 5 business models, you use all 5. Okay, if you can use 3, you use 3. Okay, but many a times, okay, people say, you know, all these are very successful companies. Okay, so there must be one very dominant business model. No, to be a very innovative, very successful company, you cannot make use of one. Okay, so Ivan, thanks a lot very much. I will have to clear this, okay, so that I can move on to the next. Okay, so in the interest of time, let me run through it very quickly with everyone. So normally in class, I will have a lot of people who tells me, oh, you know, they will say, oh, you know, I 3, I 4, I 5 in this. Okay, but across the board, because of whichever company they see here, they must have at least 3 business models, okay, in the same company. Why? The more business models there are, the more complicated it will be. And the more complicated the business model is, the harder competitors can come close. Okay, and because of that, many a times these companies are on a runaway growth because nobody can copy them. Even if you want to copy, you can only copy a segment of it, but you can copy all. So this is actually where they become really, really successful. Okay, all right. And finally, I would like every one of you to walk away with this fact, okay, because you hear a lot more business models tonight. Okay, so is it about digitization or is it about extinction? Okay, which is more important to a company right now because of COVID, or even before COVID, which is more important, digitization or extinction? Anyone? Okay, so if you're not sure, in my opinion, okay, one can lend to the other. So before COVID, you can say that, no, I don't want to digitize. I don't want to look at my business model. It's fine. My business model is fine. Unchallenged. Nothing is go wrong. Okay. So Benny, you say that it's digitization that's more important. True. But when you talk about digitization, many a times you can't digitize if you don't examine your business models. That means, in other words, if you do not even know how your new business model is going to be like, you shouldn't digitize at all. Okay. You must plan for digitization. And the best way to plan for digitization is your business model innovation. Okay. And because of COVID, right, the rules of the market have changed. The need for digitization has changed. Okay. And you need to go about creating new value, protect the brand, as well as try to survive. So in that, okay, my last for you is for you to ask yourself, are you ready? Or are you just about to start? Okay, food for thought. Okay, if you think you're ready, my business model actually webinar will help you a lot. But if you are not ready, at least tonight is your first brush, okay, with business model innovation.